This video was selected for release this month by my doll faces and pop tarts over on Patreon. Much love to you as always. Hello, sweet magic makers. My name is Kellyanne Maddox. I am a witchcraft mentor, a card slinger, and a spiritual counsellor. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm an ENTP. My pronouns are she, her. My love language is free Palestine. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this video about using witchcraft to rev up your social life, just to have the kinds of friendships you want to have better social life experiences, and to feel like you enjoy being around other human beings. I know it's difficult, but I'm going to do my best for you with this video, sweethearts. So if you know that lately you've been having a little bit of a difficult time with your social life, maybe you want to make some changes, maybe you notice some of the same different issues or dramas coming up over and over, and you're wondering how to remedy that, or if you just find it difficult to socialize, but you know that you really want to, this could be the video for you. Stick around and I will tell you some of my favorite witchcraft techniques to get the social life where you want it to be and get the energy nice and high and just feel like you're enjoying yourself, because you deserve that. The first piece of advice I have is rather more the kind of like boring garden variety advice. It might not come across very witchy, but I think it's a really, really good foundation on which to base any witchcraft practice that you would do for your social life. The first thing I want to suggest is that you identify any issues that come up when you're socializing, when you're trying to make friends, when you're trying to go deeper with friendships, when you're trying to be invited to things, when you show up to things you've been invited to. If you know that there are any issues that you see time after time, whether you consider them to be issues that you need to take control of, or whether they're issues with the external situation and you're not really sure why you keep seeing them, I just think it's very important to write those things down, okay? So if you tend to find, for example, that you often feel awkward in social situations, you never really feel comfortable, and you don't really have a good time, no matter what the scenario, write that down. If you tend to find that you overshare, you trauma dump, you tend to feel that you do or say things that are quite embarrassing, maybe in order to fit in, or maybe because you think it's what's expected of you, you need to write that down. I mean, it's quite shadow worky, really, but I think sometimes when we know that we are utilizing witchcraft to help us to enjoy something more or get more out of something, often it pays to think about how we haven't really been enjoying it that much in the past, or why things tend to go awry. Like, what can we see? What kinds of patterns can we identify that we would like to change? What is going on your list when you think about what you would want to write down? What is it that you would like to see improvements with in terms of social life? It could just be that you don't feel like your social circle is big enough. It could be that you did have quite a close bunch of people, but your life changed, or their lives changed, or you moved away, or whatever it is. So it could be very basic, very simple, but it could be a little bit more complex. You might actually have to look at your own behaviors, the kinds of relationships you tend to pursue, the kinds of social situations that you're maybe attracted to that aren't good for you, that kind of thing, So it can go into, I think, quite shadow worky territory, but it does help you to get a better understanding of what it is you're exactly using witchcraft for and what problems you're trying to solve. A couple of things that come up a lot for witches when I talk to them about social life stuff. The first is that they feel completely energetically wiped after socializing. They just feel so drained. They feel like they've got nothing left to give to anything else, and they just need to have a really, really long nap or excessive amounts of food and solitude to be able to feel like they've come back to themselves. That's a very common one. Another one that I often hear from sort of more mystical types is that they tend to be the sponge for everybody else's pain. So whenever they get into social situations, they go to a party, they go to a dinner, they meet up with friends, they try to make new friends, they tend to find that actually they end up being like the unpaid counselor of the group. They go into healing mode, they go into listening mode, and that's a really nice skill to have, a really nice thing to be able to do for people, but it's not something that somebody wants to be enacting 24/7. Whenever they're in a social situation, they're basically the listening ear. No one's really asking about them. They are more perceived as the person that can be dumped on, that can be poured into, that can be asked, what do you think I should do about this? And a lot of witches tend to find that they are placed in that position because of some of the various skills that they have in that regard. So if you find that you're in either of those two categories, you're in ridiculously good company, I'm afraid. There's a lot of us here that have found ourselves in those situations before, but it might be other stuff as well. You might have to look back over what's gone on in social situations and be really honest about both your own behavior and also the kinds of things that you pursue or end up landing into and maybe you think about how you want to change that, how you want to do something different in the future, and then you start thinking about how witchcraft can help with that. The next thing that is very, very useful to do, my darlings, is figure out your red flags, your green flags, your deal breakers, and your rules of engagement, okay? Now, if you've been one of my clients over time and we've ever discussed social life, you're going to know that this is something that I do encourage my clients to do. And now I'm encouraging anyone who's watching this video to do it, okay? It's a very useful thing to do. Again, I know it's not that witchy, but you can make it witchy, okay? Hear me out. Just hear me out. This is not a pop psychology video. I promise that there is witchcraft in this video, okay? So what you want to do is, first of all, think about your green flags. Think about the kinds of things with people, with social situations, with events, with conversations that feel like green flags to you. Okay, what kinds of things make something feel safe, positive, that they feel like they contain the right sort of energy, that you want more of, they feel good. Okay, those are your green flags. Then you look at the red flags. All right, the red flags are things that you do not necessarily want to experience and you do not feel safe around when it comes to social engagement, making friends, you know, circulating with people, mingling in a group of people. The red flags are not something where you see one of them and you immediately exit the room. But if you see a few of them and they start to make a little bouquet of red flags, then you're going to start thinking, this isn't a safe situation. This doesn't look like it's going to be a positive friendship. So write down your red flags, because if you see enough of them, you're going to want to vamoose. Okay, so your red flags are going to guide you in that respect. The deal breakers, they are exactly what they say on the tin. They are things that would break the deal for you. Okay, they are no compromise zones. They are things that absolutely would decide for you that this is not a friendship I want to have. This is not a social circle I want to be in. I need to call a cab. This event is not the event I want to be at. Okay, so deal breakers are very important because they are your little alarm bell that goes off when you know that something is not right in a social situation. And then your rules of engagement, those are basically your rules. They are rules for how you want to engage in social situations, in new friendships that are kind of like budding and coming into being. Any situation where you're around others, any scenario that involves other people, what are your rules of conduct? What do you think would be your rules of engagement to make sure that you are being pleasant and safe and friendly, and that you are, you know, you're being amiable, but you're holding your boundaries. So let me give you a little example from me, okay? A green flag for me would be when somebody also asks me questions. In the past, I've had a little bit of a problem, just as I said earlier, with being the person that people want to talk at. They either want to dump on me without asking me anything about myself, or they want to ask me something, but it's only, how do you think I should deal with this problem? What do you think I should say to this person? How do you think I should conduct myself in this way, right? So it's not really about me. There doesn't feel like there's much equality there. And I've noticed that in the past with friendships and social scenarios. So for me, a green flag, a massive green flag for me, is if somebody asks me questions in return. An extra green flag would be if they do not interrupt me when I'm giving my answer. That's great, okay? Red flag would be when that's not happening. Definitely, that's a red flag for me. It doesn't mean I'm going to vamoose. It could be that someone's having a bad day, okay? It could be that it's just not the right moment for us to be mingling and meeting. And so I'll definitely give them another opportunity. It's not like a deal breaker, but it's a red flag. A deal breaker for me, my deal breakers are racism, sexism, homophobia, that kind of jazz, okay? Transphobia, deal breakers, deal breakers. If you say anything like that, we are so done. I cannot be your friend. And then rule of conduct, a rule of engagement for me. Rule of engagement for me would be that I try not to overshare. In the past, I've been someone that just goes to the bone with somebody conversationally straight away. I do not think that's healthy. I like things to go a little bit slower, be on a little bit more of a slower burn. And I think that's healthy for everyone. And if you want more information about how I feel about that, I made a video recently about telling your stories, claiming your stories, and owning your power when you're telling stories and sharing things with people. So pop over to that video if you're interested. I will leave the link down below for you. So there we go. For me, that is one green flag, red flag, one deal breaker, and one rule of engagement. So share down below. What are yours? Get at us and let us know. Once you've decided upon them and you've written them down, don't be afraid to put them on the altar. Read them out loud on the altar. You know, when you're in your witchy mode, light some candles, light some incense. You might want to read the document actually into a mirror. You guys know that I love a little bit of mirror work over here. So you might want to do anything like that. But basically refer refer back to them. Always refer back to your green flags, red flags, deal breakers, rules of engagement, because it's easy to forget them, and they are a document of your quality control. They describe what it is that you most want to experience in social situations, and they are your guide when you're feeling a little bit confused about what is going on and if something is okay by you. So don't be afraid to refer back to them, but definitely do something witchy about it, okay? Put some oil over them, speak them out loud, you know, put some herbs over them, put them in a special magical box, right? Do something to confirm that those are some really, really important pieces of documentation of what you want your social life to look like. Spend some time thinking about your public persona. The public persona in itself can be considered an instrument of glamour. It can be considered a kind of magical instrument. It's a magical tool. It doesn't need to get really complex. You don't need to fake it to make it or whatever. Everybody has a public facing self. You can try noticing it with the people closest to you in your life. You might notice that there is somebody that you know really, really well, and you get to see them more in their sort of like fuller spectrum of being. But when you go out with them and you mingle with people that you don't know that well, you might notice that that person swears less, for example. Maybe they utilize more of their vocabulary. Maybe they're funnier. Maybe they switch up the comedy. They have certain things that they do that make them feel comfortable, confident, more outgoing, you know. Maybe they have their certain things within themselves that they reach for more when they're in public, when they're socializing, when they're potentially making friends or trying to meet somebody that they can date. So notice that. It's really interesting, and it happens with all of us. I have a reading in my online store called the Power Persona reading, and it's basically just a tarot reading that helps me and a client to explore their persona and figure out how things might be changed up there so they can get better kind of like social results. Let me read you the spread positions for my Power Persona reading. So there are 7 spread positions in this reading, okay? And they are assessing your relationship with your persona, that's position 1. How and when your persona changes, factors and challenges. The 3rd position is key misunderstandings and missteps that cause them. The 4th card is initial steps to alchemy, alterations, glamours and experiments. The 5th card is spiritual alchemy, bringing your soul on board. Okay, so that's where we really put the soulfulness into the persona and connect the persona to the deeper you. The 6th card is healing old stories and writing new ones. And the 7th card is hidden and unseen elements of your relationship with your persona. So if you would like to buy that reading, by the way, I will leave the link down below. It is a very, very fun reading to do. I've had some very interesting results with clients doing the Power Persona reading. But if you would like to do it for yourself, go right ahead, and you can switch up and tweak and customize the spread positions. You can look at specific issues that you feel that you might have with your public facing self, and see if you can play around with it and use the cards to get some good advice on how you might want to tweak or polish your persona a little bit to get the best social results and to call in some really shiny relationships or call in some really interesting social opportunities for yourself. If you really want to enjoy socializing and get better social results, then there is something else that you can do, okay? Once you've sort of examined your persona, you've looked at how you might want to tweak it or change it or bring certain really awesome elements of yourself to the front, you can also then go on to make yourself a confidence kit. A confidence kit, I think, is a witch's incredible secret social weapon, guys. If you don't have a confidence kit, you need to start making one pronto. Trust me, okay? It makes all the fucking difference when it comes to socializing. Your confidence kit is going to include certain music, clothing and accessories. There might be certain perfume in there, words of power that you can say, all kinds of different things. It's like a preparation kit that you open every time you're about to go out and like be around people, when you're in a new situation, when you're with friends, when you're trying to meet people. Maybe you just want to go to the new store in your area that sells like gaming stuff or music stuff or books or whatever. Maybe you just want to meet the local activist group around you or whatever. You're going to want to open your confidence kit and get right into that serious witchiness before you meet people and start mixing and mingling. If you're someone that has issues socializing and you tend to freeze or you tend to get a little bit awkward, there are some really awesome things to put into your confidence kit. First of all, make sure that you've got some kind of talisman in there, something that you want to wear that makes you feel more confident. Even if you wear it underneath your clothing, ring or some kind of sigil that you can actually draw on your skin with like a Sharpie pen or something, so that you know you've got that sigil on there, kind of like, you know, quietly, cosmically burning underneath your clothing, making sure that it's with you, accompanying you, bringing that confidence forth. You also, I think, for a confidence kit, you're going to want in there some conversation starters. I know that it's really difficult when someone's got social anxiety, they just feel really anxious around new people. Maybe you're worried about how you're coming across, you're worried about how a conversation is going to go. It is so good to have some conversation starters and to have some various different things that you might want to say when you don't know what to say or when you're not sure about something, you know. Those certain areas in a conversation where usually you would go blank or get scared or get anxious, you're going to want some words to go in there instead, so you feel like you can keep things going and you can feel that you're calm and in control. So have some conversation starters, have some different ways that you can deviate from conversations maybe you don't want to have. Think about what's gone on in the past that's left you a bit stumped or a little bit out of sorts, and go through those words in the confidence kit so that you feel like by the time you get there to the event, you actually feel like, oh, you know what, I feel like I can speak. I feel like I've got some things that I know I can talk about that are interesting for others as well, and I'm not going to get stuck into kind of like freaking out or info dumping or just standing in a corner looking at the floor, you know. A great thing to put into a confidence kit is a letter for yourself, you know. So I once made a confidence kit when I came to this area. I've lived in this area quite a few years now, and I know a lot of people here now, but when I first moved here, I didn't know anyone, and I had just come out of an extremely bad friendship breakup. It was bad, guys. Like, it was awful. That is a story for another day, but it is a story that would make your balls shrink to the size of raisins. Okay, it's not good. It was horrible. She was horrible. Everything got messed up, and I felt really on the back foot about making friends and getting to know people. And for a while when I moved down here, I really didn't want to get to know anyone. I knew that I just needed to be in hermit mode, and I was doing a lot of ritual to kind of try and recover from this horrible friendship breakup. And I'm telling you, this friend went mask off, like the lot. It was really bad. So when I started going out and trying to meet people and like just going to events and things like that, I had a confidence kit. And in the confidence kit, I had a few little letters that I'd written to myself and sealed up. And I kind of like, you know, really sort of blessed them, put some perfume in there, put some flower petals and some nice stickers, anything that I would want to receive if I opened a letter from someone else. And in the letters, it was just like, babe, you're amazing. You deserve friends. You're like enchanting and worthwhile. And don't worry and keep your fucking chin up, baby. And, you know, be there with yourself and know that you are awesome and you deserve to have connections and it's going to be okay. So it's basically like a really sweet, wise, kindly auntie writing these letters to me, except it was my higher self writing these letters to this kind of like broken, lonely part of me that really needed them. And every so often I would just go to my confidence kit and I would open up one of these letters and I would really feel like, you know what, I'm rooting for me. I feel warm and fizzy about the fact that I'm with myself and it's going to be okay and I'm going to make friends. And it was okay and I did make friends, you know. You can put all kinds of different things in your confidence kit. You can put images in there of like your favorite fictional characters, your favorite like movie characters, just anyone or anything that inspires you to be confident and reminds you to be confident. For those of you who like Pinterest boards, please don't forget that you can make a confidence Pinterest board and look at it before you go out. Okay, Pinterest boards can be very magical. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Pinterest boards are cosmic. One of the most potent forms of glamour spells that you can do is just very simple evocation. You know, you just sort of like evoke the energy and the spirit and the vibe of a person or an energy of some kind, a concept of some kind, an album, whatever it is. You evoke something that makes you feel confident or happy or outgoing or willing to be open to possibilities, okay? For me, evocation is just one of the most simple and straightforward forms of glamour that there is. I recently took to the stage at Divination Day for the 40 Society, and I did a big speech about tarot, and it was quite nerve-wracking. There were quite a lot of people in the audience there. And before I went on, I just silently evoked the energy and the spirit of Freddie Mercury, which is something I very often do when I need to feel confident, okay? And I don't get nervous about speaking on stage or anything like that. I'm kind of like obnoxiously confident when it comes to speaking on stage, but I do get the flutters about 20 minutes, half an hour before I go on. And I'm like, oh my goddess, I'm actually going to go out there and I'm going to speak and people are going to perceive me and people are going to listen to what I say and people are going to make judgments about what I say and I might fuck this up, right? Just ordinary human shit. And so whenever that happens, I always think about Freddie and I kind of download his vibe. I'm not fully invoking him. I'm not I'm not channeling him and allowing him to speak through me, but I'm wrapping myself in the coat of like Mercury energy, you know? I'm just going full Freddie. When I go out on that stage, I know that I'm going to be in performance mode. I'm going to be supremely confident. I'm going to be gesturing. I'm going to be in my element, just like Freddie Mercury was on stage. So that's really a powerful form of glamour for me. It's simple. It's really straightforward. You don't need any tools to do it. You just basically need to feel in to this incredible rock icon that you love and that you've spent years watching his interviews and listening to his music, and just take him on. Just really witness the Freddie Mercury within yourself, basically. You can do this with anything. You can do this with a fictional character. You can do it with an album, with a style of music, with a movement of art. I have once or twice evoked just the punk era. I've evoked punk in general to be able to help me get through certain things, to be able to help me handle certain things that were coming up. I have evoked the spirit of Oscar Wilde. I have evoked the energy of Aslan from Narnia. I mean, you know, all my favorites, guys, like all the things. I've evoked the energy of Susie Sue. Do it, try it. It's really incredible. Evocation is glamour, but it's just like really honest glamour. I think that those high glamour magic spells that I would do to be able to like get a book deal or ace a job interview, or maybe on a first date, or maybe in some way where I really wanted to sort of smash through a wall of fear and get into a room I didn't think I could be in, that's where I'm going to do the more complex glamour workings. But when it comes to something like, I just want to feel that I'm confident to walk into this room, I'm confident at this party, I'm confident mixing with people, I'm confident at this event, right? If I just want to feel like that, it's not a big complex high glamour working I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to evoke some shit that feels good. I'm going to feel like I'm walking in there with the spirit of punk by my side. I'm going to feel like I'm walking in there but in the style of Freddie Mercury, right? So evocation is just really like you're taking on the energy, the spirit, the vibe, the feeling, the style of something, and you're working with it, you know, you're merging with it, and it's taking you with it, and it's making you into the best and most strong version of yourself for that time. I want to finish this video up today by talking about a couple of things that are maybe not so high vibe and not so fun, okay? I do know that a lot of people that are fearful about social situations and making friends and stuff like that, they've had bad times, they've had difficult experiences where they've been screwed over, they've been treated unfairly, they've been betrayed, there have been some snakes in the grass, as we say, and it really hasn't been nice. And for that reason, you kind of shut up shop emotionally, right? You really are afraid and uncertain about dating or making friends or going out into social scenarios. And I want to hold some space for you, and I want to send you my love and my understanding. I know how difficult that can be. There's a couple of things that you can do as a witch that will make it easier to navigate your way through things if you feel like you're very uncertain, or you feel like you're on the back foot, maybe you're a bit defensive, maybe you're a bit closed because of things that have happened. First of all, obviously the things I said at the beginning of the video about like looking at any issues that you've had previously, shadow working that shit, that's really important. Figuring out your green flags, red flags, all of that, yes, all of that's important. But another thing that you can do is, if you have any kind of divination method that you work with, don't be afraid to check in with that divination method regularly and ask questions. Ask questions like, whereabouts can I call in friendship more? What do I need to know about this situation that's making me nervous or uncertain? You know, just things like that. Just really looking at whereabouts should I, when should I, how might I, what do I need to see when it comes to, you know, these kinds of open questions that just give you more information and help you to vibe check the energies in social situations and with friendships that are growing. I have so many journal entries, guys, that are literally just tarot readings helping me to explore how I'm feeling about a friendship or a relationship or a kind of like, you know, situationship or whatever. I've thrown the cards about it. I haven't really known what's going on. I don't know how much I want to give energetically. I'm not really sure if I'm like overthinking something. You know, just by coincidence, I have a massive bunch of my journals here because I was going through them the other night, reading through them. And believe me, this is the tip of the fucking journaling iceberg, guys. I love my journaling, okay? A journal is one of the most sensitive sensational tools for the witch, I feel. And in these journals, I noticed there are tons of readings where I'm just analysing different relationships and situations, thinking about how can I make this stronger? Is this a red flag? Do I need to go in a different direction with this? Like, how can I look at what I'm doing here? Why isn't it feeling good? What needs to change? Is it something with me, right? What do I need to look out for, right? So I've got loads of readings like that where I'm just assessing social shit. Don't be afraid to use your divination methods for that if you don't already. And I definitely don't think it's useful to ask closed questions like, is this person going to fuck me over or not? But more like, what do I need to know about my relationship with this person? How can I make sure my energy is protected while I explore this connection? You know, what might be the level of danger in the next few months if I continue on the path I'm on? How can I make healthy changes that make me feel safe while I'm around this person, right? Things like that. So it's not telling you what to do, but it's giving you a really, really good sense of what the energy is so you can make your informed decision. I don't think it's best to let tarot tell us what to do with relationships, but I do think it can really help us to lean in more to what the truth of something is and come to our own conclusions. So definitely use divination methods, get your runes out, get your cards out, get your crystal ball out. Trust me on this. Don't forget your protection, my darlings. That is the last thing that I want to say. Whenever it comes to worries, doubts, insecurities, uncertainties, suspicious vibes going on, you know, you're not really sure where you are with somebody or something, get your protection on lock. Make sure that you feel energetically protected. There are so many different techniques that witches use for this. What are your favorites? Let us know down below. How do you make sure your protection is really nice and high and tight so that you can make the connections that you want to make and have the best time socially, but you make sure that you've got that nice big fuck off energy barrier when it comes to people that might have malicious intentions, when it comes to people that you know that you do not want to allow to get close to you. There's so many different ways we can do this. We can do this with talismans. We can do this with literal energy work by locking the energy field. I like to think that I can really program my protection, you know, so I do want my energy barrier protected. I do want my energy field protected, in other words, right, by a barrier. But I also want a pathway towards me. I want to send an energetic invitation towards me for people that I would make good friends with and that we would have a great connection. But I also want that nice big fuck off vibe that is emanating out towards anyone who might have malicious intention, who it's not right for me to trust, who would be trouble for me. So I like to think that if I do my energy work in preparation for a social situation, my energy work will actually do a lot of the work for me, so I can just enjoy the party, I can enjoy the event, I can enjoy being around people, I can enjoy talking to people. So however you set up your protection, if you do it using amulets, if you do it using talismans and sigils, if you do it using work with your guides and your gods who protect you and look out for you and shield you, you can really be doing a lot of that stuff. And don't forget, you don't only put protection over yourself to make sure that no unsavory characters come in with their bullshit and their fuckery, okay? Yes, you do that. But you can also do things like protect your reputation. You can put energetic protection around your reputation. You can put protection around pre-existing friendships so that when new people come into the mix, they don't mess with things and you can all align nicely without friendships falling out of whack, you know? So you can really do that if you feel like you want to put protection around you to stop gossiping and backbiting or backstabbing or whatever, you can do that as well. I think that protection can be programmed and there are so many different ways to do that. And please do not get at me down in the comments complaining that I haven't given you hard techniques for this. Guys, I'm a rebel witch, pure and simple. I believe that you have to mine your own ideas factory. You've got to come up with your own shit. It's not all stuff that you read out of a book that's going to work for you. It's got to be stuff that you really feel into, that you know works for you deep down. So sometimes I do get a little bit of criticism for not explaining hard and fast techniques all the time. But guys, it's because I really genuinely believe that the techniques that feel like they're doing the best for you and they feel the most sturdy for you are the techniques that are going to work. I love to seal my energy field up, but have these beautiful like tapestries or motifs woven into the energy field that I can really see with my eyes closed. I can imagine them right now. I can see them shining and glinting. And they are the energetic invitations that I'm sending out to anyone in my vicinity that might be good for me, that I would like to meet, that I would like to get closer to. And then I've got my red, angry neon talismans in the energy field too. They've been woven in specifically for the people that have malice towards me, that might have bad intent, that need a lot of fucking therapy, and instead of making friends with me, they should go and book their first session. You know what I mean? Right? I have talismans in there too that ward off the people that maybe in the moment I wouldn't see are bad for me. I might not necessarily feel it because I'm enjoying myself and I'm meeting people or I'm doing whatever the fuck I'm doing, right? So I might not notice it in that moment, but I've programmed into my energy field that I will be protected. I've pre-programmed my protection to be working for me at all times. And you can also just ask your gods to keep an eye, you know, ask them to keep their eyes on the situation, make sure that they ward off anybody who's not going to be the right fit for you and might make trouble. Remember, my darlings, it's not judgment, it's discernment, okay? I'm not like judging somebody down to the bone. You're a good person, you're a bad person. I'm allowing my energetic protection to discern who might not be so great for me. And I'll go with that. That sounds good to me. I want to thank my patrons for choosing this very intriguing topic. There were so many different directions I could have gone with this one, but please let me know what you thought of what I had to say. Please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and get at me in the comments. Yeah, let's have a discussion about social life and witchcraft. How have you used it to make friends and have a better time on this planet with other human beings? If you would like to join my Patreon so you can have a chance to vote in the next poll, then you can go ahead and join. I also have a Discord. I have the one card riff every month. We have an audio offering every month, affirmations every month, printable every month. Guys, I give so much on the Patreon, so go over and check it out and come and be part of Planet Magick's over on Patreon. Also, to let you know, my darlings, Witches for Palestine, of which I am a part, we are having a raffle, okay? The winners are being drawn in the new year. So if you would like to win a 1-hour reading with me, or you would like to win the collection of my audio courses, you could be in with a chance of winning either one of them, or you could win something from another one of the talented witches that has donated a product or service to the raffle. All of the money donated goes to Kutches to Gaza, an incredible organization that is helping Palestinian families rebuild their lives after escaping Gaza. So please go ahead and be part of the raffle. I will leave all the details down below. Get involved. Witches for Palestine, hashtag Witches for Palestine on Instagram. Get the fuck involved. Okay, my darlings, until next time. Much love and blessed be. Mwah.